All right, today I'm with my friend Greg Burns, and he's getting me started in beekeeping, and he's got a trick for the smoker, and so let her rip.
Okay, well, the hardest thing about beginning beekeeping is there's so much stuff to learn all the time, and it seems like there's always these hard learning curves. Lighting a smoker is one of the things where if you can get this step right, that's really going to help you in your beehive, because you got confidence that you can keep them calm. The worst thing in the world is you light a fire, and by the time you get from here to the beehive, the fire's out. That's the worst thing in the world. So there's a few tricks that I've learned from my mentor that's really helped make sure we have a fire. This could stay lit all day long. It could be an hour. You can tailor it, but there's a couple little things. The most important thing, and you might have heard me say it before, is I think the secret is Amazon boxes. It's at least cardboard.
Yeah.
Rather than just burn it and waste it, you can use it in so many different ways, including the smoker. So the first thing that I like to do is I'll take the cardboard and then peel the layers off that corrugated center and get you to where it's like a thicker piece of paper. Then what we'll do is we'll light that. I was hoping I was going to be smart enough to light your lighter there, Gary. I think I might have won. Okay, we'll get that going. You can use a blowtorch too, but I mean, the matches work fine too. And we'll just puff a little bit. It's going to get a little bit of air going. Okay, we got that going. Now we'll just slowly add to it. We're just going to puff, puff, puff. Then we're just going to slowly start adding to it once we get enough going in there. Now I know common sense seems to be a thing that eludes most folks these days, but that's hot. It's a lot of fire, so use your smarts. If it's getting too hot for your fingers, use your hive tool. We'll stick it in there, and can you hear that? We're getting close. Now we got enough heat to do what we want. So that's going to be enough for today. We're going to get Gary's hive installed and show him what's on the inside. So for now, what we're going to do is take these pine needles. This is the biggest trick. Not only is this free, but it's in abundance here, which is awesome. Watch what happens almost immediately. Watch the quality of smoke. Look at that.
Wow.
That quick. I mean, it's growing here in abundance, and it's perfect. It cools it off. We'll get the flames licking on there pretty good again. Okay, so we have that yellow smoke. We've got a little extra resin burning. It's a little bit hot. That's what we want at first. Now we'll just go ahead and start packing it. Now we got a lot of smoke. The trick is using this end of your hive tool, and you can use it to kind of squash down that fire, choke out some of that oxygen, and that'll cool off the smoke. Now look at the color. See how the color's changed? Now it's more of that blue smoke. That wouldn't be real good if that was a small block Chevy to have blue smoke. You might need to put a screen in there on your. I was looking at. He's got a brand new smoker here. I don't know if you can see it there, but it looks like it'll shoot flames out the backside. You might want to take a piece of hardware cloth.
Okay.
1/8" hardware cloth or some piece of metal.
Yeah.
And just kind of make a little ring to go around the inside there. Maybe keep that flame from licking.
Okay.
But we're going there. That'll get us. That's more than enough for what we need there. You can't have them both, is usually what they say. One or the other. I think I lost on both of those straws there. All right. Well, most of the time I don't wear anything when we're working the bees. Not because you get an extra award for not doing it, but they're such calm bees, you never have to. But since they went on a ride today and they've been pinned up, they might be a little bit less than happy at first until they get out and fly. So go ahead and put our veil on. So what we're working with here, Gary, is called a nuke. A nuke is short for a nucleus colony, which is a small. It's a small colony all in one, ready to go. It has the queen, which she's laying day-old eggs full of larvae. There's all the stages of those as they get bigger, clear up to where the brood gets capped, has a wax coating. and then the bees are emerging out. So it has all that life cycle. It also has a little bit of stored honey, has some stored pollen. It has all the resources to keep making bees. So what we're going to do is we use these 5-frame nukes, and we just stack these up, and they do great here in Ohio. We try to keep everything down to 5-frame boxes. We use wax, vertical wired foundation, or just starter strips. We keep it as natural as we can. And this is just a nice way to keep the box configurations the same, the frame configurations the same. This is not really standard equipment. This is things that I've learned from my mentor, the Fat Bee Man, and it makes a really big difference in the bee yard. I think one of the things that we do different was we use these colored entrance dials. It helps us for right now. It's set to ventilation, so it keeps them in the box. They can't get out, but they can still breathe. And then shortly we'll turn the dial and open them up, and that'll be their entrance. When you get a lot of hives all together, you can keep them close, and you can use this dial, and it kind of is a color code for which front door is theirs. So when they come out and orient, they know what's what. So this is just an extra box. We'll take a look at here and see what we want to do, if we want to go ahead and add a box to this, or give them another week before we add another box. So the first thing we can do is we can open this up, and then they'll start flying out. I usually tighten that down just a little bit on the right here. So I'll go ahead and loosen up that screw just a touch. So Gary, you can do the honors. You can turn that rascal open, and I wouldn't probably do it all the way. I'd probably leave it about like that for right now. Yep, there you go.
Oh,
there it is.
Hey, kids.
Now, here's the fun part. When we watch them, if you stand back and watch, they'll come out, and they're going to take these circle flights around the hive.
That's it.
And they're going to orientate themselves to their new home, which is pretty cool. Now they're relearning where they live. It's amazing the mechanism instilled in these bees to do what they do. Is just something as simple like that. You move their home, you open up their door, they go outside, they find out where they're living, and they're going to start going to work. They'll be working today. And so we kept them good and cool. If it was too hot in there, they would all be barreling out. Yeah. But it's nice and they can kind of just trickle out. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and open up their top lid, and then we'll show you the frames and show you what the components are on the frames. Okay. And then we'll set them back, and then we'll decide if we want to put another box on, or if we want to give them a little bit longer to fill it out. So I guess if you're ready, we'll just go ahead and we will take this plug out because we're going to put some sugar water on them. Okay. Anyway, so put that in your bee jacket, and they'll also start flying out from here too. Mm-hmm. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to work the hives from behind. Okay. Okay, because if we're in the front and they're trying to get out, they're agitated with us because we're in their flight pant and they can crawl up our pants, and we work them from behind. They can still do their work. We can stay out of each other's way. And there's a box full of bees. So what we'll do is we'll just give them just a little bit of smoke, and we don't have to smoke them hard or directly down below. We can just come right over the side, just give them a little bit of a puff. Okay. All right, so there's a bunch of different ways to do this, Gary. I'll show you what I've learned and what has worked the best for me. Rather than using our hive tool, we don't really need that smoke on them the whole time. I'll put that down here. Rather than go through and use our hive tool and jam each frame and pry each one open, what I've learned that works the best is if we can move all these bees at once, just to one side of the box. Okay. So we'll take our hive tool and we'll come like this, and we'll just press those frames over to that side, and we'll press these frames over to this side. So now what we've done is we've kept the colony intact, and we've just moved them over. Now that gives us room to start to work the frames. Okay, so now we're going to whopper jaw this frame off to one side, And what that does is that gives us a little bit of extra room for where these sidebars are. It creates like a 32nd inch extra gap when we do that. That helps not to smush bees. Gives them more room, gives us more room. It just helps keep things calm.
Okay.
All right, so we'll pull that first one out. And we'll take a look. And on this one, they're starting to bring back nectar and cap that. This is actually honey.
Okay.
Okay, so they're going to keep drawing all of this out and going busy with that. So we'll just put this on the outside of the frame, of the box. Now we'll go to the next one. Okay? So now look at all this extra room we have now.
Sure.
So now we have almost probably close to ½ of an inch gap to where bees can go around it. We're not going to smash them. We'll pop it out and we'll take a look. Okay, and now see here, all these looks like wet, shiny stuff. That's nectar.
Okay.
They're bringing in fresh nectar and filling all these cells in. So in about another week, this whole thing will be full of nectar.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Same thing on that side. They're working both sides. It's going to be all nectar. If we look, there's some dark stuff in here. That's where they've taken pollen and they've mixed it with the nectar, and they spit it back out. It's called bee bread. This is when you really know that a hive is really set up to make baby bees, is they have to have that Gerber baby food.
Okay.
Okay, they're preparing to make babies. Before they can do that, they actually have to build the nursery and build the kitchen cupboards to actually bring those groceries home to do all that. So everything is all drawn out, ready to go. So now what we do is we have our first frame, it's set off to the side. We cock this one off to an angle to give us more room to work. We'll take a look at it. Now we can just put it right back and put it right against the sidewall, just like that.
Okay.
Okay? Now we've got room to work. We don't have a bunch of bees outside of the box. We can just slowly, same thing. Just cock that one at an angle. Okay, now we can pick it up, take a look. Lots of bees.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we look inside here, it looks like little grubs. You see it looks like little worm grubby deals? That's larvae.
Okay.
And if you look, they go bigger, 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 smaller, 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 smaller. It's the whole entire life cycle. From the day she lays the egg, it looks like a grain of rice that sticks straight out of the cell. Day 2, it lays flat. Day 3, it starts to curl, then it gets bigger. It goes through its whole entire life cycle. And then we can just look right here on the frame. We can just get an idea. Look how calm they are.
Yeah.
They're doing great.
Beautiful.
Aren't they?
Yeah, they're pretty.
All different colors. So like what you see in here, right there is a baby. It's actually hatching. You see that one right here?
Yeah.
That one's hatching right in front of your eyes there. Right here is another one. See right here?
Yeah.
That's hatching. And they hatch and then she lays new eggs. And if you look, this is a really good spot for a bee yard because you can just hold this frame with the sun to your back and you can look inside of there. You look inside and you can see the whole entire world inside of there. You can see everything from it looks like grains of rice to the little larvae to nectar, and you can get a really good idea of what's going on. Now a lot of folks when they're starting out, the first thing they want to look for is always find the queen. Yeah, it's important to know you have a queen, but what's more important than actually physically seeing the queen each time is seeing evidence that the queen's been there.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's going to be looking for day-old eggs.
Yeah.
So when you're ready, you can just set that right back in the box. Let's see. Okay. Yep, good. Yep. And just put it all the way back up against that frame on the outside. There you go. Yep. And just push it back tight. There you go. Yep. Good.